Hey guys, Zach here with Gustafson Plastics. We wanted to shoot you a quick video to show you how to sand in some of our products in order to get the best fit. So first question is probably wondering, why do you have to sand in your products? Well, basically everything that leaves our shop here is fairing fit. So for example, we've got a headlight cover here for this Yoshimura fairing. As you can see here, it fits in very nice, follows the lines everywhere. But in some cases, some of the fairings that come from the fairing manufacturers are made with slight deviations, or if you have an actual vintage fairing that's 10, 15, even 20, 30 years old, they're going to probably have modified a little bit. So the first thing we're going to use is the tools to mark it. So we can either use some kind of felt tip permanent marker, or you can use some kind of scriber, which can be a screwdriver, or even a nail that's sharpened on some kind of belt sander so that you can really get in there and scrape it. After you've marked it, step 2 is going to be sanding. So we've got a normal belt sander here with an 80 grit sandpaper on it. That's going to be your main sanding tool. You can also use any kind of table sander if you have, even just hand sandpaper if you don't know anyone with a belt sander. And then the last thing to finish the edges is a simple pair of scissors, household normal kitchen scissors that can be used to deburr the edges. Alright, so the first step in our little walkthrough is just to kind of give you a demonstration of what we got here. We've got one that fits perfectly on here. This is the normal pattern that we use. It's fairing fitted, that's shipped out. We also made a version that's a little bit longer so that we can show you how to mark and sand it down in order to bring the edge in order to get the perfect fit. So like I said, we're going to use a sander and a marker, and most likely a friend to help do it. So we'll jump right to that. And now we're going to put it on here to show you the difference and find out where we need to sand in order to get this the perfect fit. So as you can see here, holding it down with one hand, it fits all along these edges here, and then right down here at the bottom it starts to come out and it's a little bit too long. Continued up probably until about here is where we need to stop sanding. So now once it's fitted on there, we're going to show you how to mark and show you how to actually sand it down. So first we're going to start with the marker here, and we're going to take it and we're going to make sure that we mark on the outside of the line so that we can sand and take the line, rather than marking on the inside and sanding too far. And one more thing we're going to show you breaking in another tool is we've got something here, we call it a scriber. You can also use a sharp tip nail. You can use anything with a pretty sharp point. But because it's a finer line that we're going to draw on the material, it's going to be a little easier to sand, and we'll show you that in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this here, continue the line, and as you can see, you're just doing a few scrapes here, meet up with that one, and go all the way down. Should I do the whole thing? So now that we've got some of those lines marked, we're going to show you right here the difference between the scriber marks we've got and the marker. The marker is a much thicker line here. It's a little more confusing, but we've got this fine scribe line here that's really easy to see where we need to sand to versus this thick line here. Alright, so now that we have it all marked, step 2 is going to be to actually sand it. So that's where we introduce the belt sander here. Now, it's a pretty common tool that most households have, and if you don't have one, hopefully a friend has one. And by doing this and using this sander, you're going to save a lot of time and a lot of money having to ship back and forth. So basically we're going to call in a friend. He's going to help hold the sander upside down, and we'll show you how to get the screen sanded in. And one thing to note is that most of them do have some kind of locking mechanism. So as soon as it's flipped over, all we have to do is really hold it down and hold it steady. So Robbie, if you don't mind getting that fired up. Take the screen here, you can see we've got the line here. And then basically we're going to do nice and gentle rocks back and forth just to make sure that you get a nice smooth sanding line. So as you just saw, it didn't take very long to really reach the line here that we've got. We almost went all the way in, and that was really the deepest sanding that we had right there. So an important thing to note is that it does go quickly. You don't need to push too hard. You just do a gentle rocking motion, and you let the sander do the work. So we're gonna turn it on. We're probably gonna finish this one, and then take down this big section here with that same gentle rocking motion. Alright, so as you saw, we did a little bit more sanding. We're going to go ahead and see how it fits. We haven't quite taken the whole line, but like I said earlier, it is better to make sure that you don't sand too much rather than sanding too little. So as you can see, we really just have a little bit more there, and we probably could take a little bit more down there on the line because you can see it's not quite fitting in. So we're going to do a little bit more sanding and finish it up. Alright, so now that we sand on line, we're going to get one more fit on here and see how it works. And we can see, even though we took our original line, that there's still a little bit extra material right here that we can sand in. So we're just going to repeat our step, come in with the scriber, and do another mark here so that we can get the last little bit. And, you know, take it from the top, repeat the whole steps again. Step one, mark. We're gonna do it, sand it in one little time here. If I can call in my helper, Robbie, please, to... put it on there. So we've done the last round of sanding, we've got it all in there, it fits nice. The last thing to do is to finish up the edges, and we're going to use one more household tool, which everyone have, and that's a pair of scissors here. We've got the screen, pair of scissors, you just open it up, and we're just going to use the inside edge of the scissors to slowly scrape back and forth and really remove the burrs on each side. So do it here on the inside, do it on the outside, and then we'll just take the edge. You can do it as much as you want, but this will clean up the edge here. So one thing to note as you're doing this, you can see that I'm holding this back edge really far away from the screen. But in case you don't do that habitually like we do here at Gustafson Plastics, you can take some blue painter's tape and tape it up around each corner just so you don't come around and accidentally scrape it on the inside. But now we've got completely finished edges. It's all sand in, it's all fit. And we're gonna put it on one last time, and as you can see here, it follows the edges very nice all the way around, and it's ready for drilling and installation. So now that it's on there, it's fit nice. We've done all the sanding that we need to do.
I videoed that. Sorry, stop. Hold on 1 second, I videoed.
So the first step in order to sand it down is to, how did I